Hi everyone, and welcome to our Thrive Not Survive series. Today we'll be talking about from employed to self-employed. So let's get started. Now, first of all, the pros of being employed. Now, you have fixed working hours, usually from 9 to 5. I always think about the song from Dolly Parton. I'm not going to start singing now, don't worry. And a secure monthly income, usually, that's what people think at least. Once you're self-employed, you might know that depending on economy and lots of other factors, that might not be as secure, but obviously, the fact of the matter is that you probably have a more secure job as such or your monthly income is more secure there, at least in the beginning. You have coworkers that you can communicate and bounce off. You have less decisions to make. So within your company, let's say the dog training business, you probably don't have as many decisions to make as if you would be employed. And therefore you have less responsibility as well. Now, the cons of actually being employed, you have less freedom of organizing your time, your own time. Like I said, you have fixed working hours. That can be a plus as well. Don't have as much of a say within the company structure. And sometimes there's a limitation of achievements as well. So you can only get as far as your job description lets you most of the time. Now we have pros of being self-employed. So you work in your own time, you develop your own business, taking responsibility for your own actions, which I think this is a pro, because it also means that you're learning loads about yourself, as well as getting self-motivation out of it, and then develop your business even further. The sky is the limit, so there is really no limit to where you can go. Self-motivation, learning new things. Oh my God, loads of new things. I mean, if you're thinking about a dog training business, and you're self-employed, all of a sudden, you have to, maybe you've got employees, so you have to, kind of get information on that and how it works. You have to build a business structure. You have to make sure that procedures are in place and so forth and so on. Usually things that you might not be used to from your previous employment job. But there's, accounting and things that you have to think about that, dear God, I've never thought, that's not things that you learn at school, really. You absolutely inspire people, and they, at the moment, I'm 6 months pregnant, going on to 7. I run 2 businesses. I'm involved in 3 businesses, and it's, I've got my own dogs. I work my dogs as well, and it's a challenge, but people always say, you're really inspiring the way you do things, and I love it. Like I said, it's challenging, but I love doing what I'm doing. And I just read one of my colleagues the other day posted something on Facebook. He said, it's a typical German saying as well, if you love your job, you don't have to work one day in your life. And I think that's true, and it isn't, but I think mostly it is true. So I think people can be very inspiring what they do as well, especially I think in the dog training world. And therefore setting an example and setting your own standards. So your own ethos, your own morals, your own standards to what you want to work to. There's obviously some cons as well to being self-employed. You're lots of times as dog trainers, you're working alone. So you don't really have people to bounce off of unless you build your own structure. So you don't have to work alone. I just feel like a lot of dog trainers are. And at this point, I just wanted to tell you, you don't have to work alone. There's lots of people that would be able to support you. Obviously, we at Man Training Global, if you're joining our guild community, you have a huge support system that you can bounce off and have people that you talk to, other trainers. It's fantastic. So depends where you put yourself as well. You have lots of responsibility, especially if you have employees. You need to make sure they have their salary, you have your own salary, you need to pay all the bills. If you've got a facility as well, all of that on top of everything. And sometimes you have working longer hours as well. Now, I think, as you can see, the pros far outweigh the cons on being self-employed. I can highly recommend it if you're a person that has a lot of self-motivation as well. So when is actually the right time to transition from being employed to getting or becoming self-employed? Is it a hobby versus business? So would you like to keep it at that, or would you like to actually make your hobby a business? That is a good thought, or you need to give that some good thought as well, because yes, you're not working one day in your life again if you love what you do. However, it can still be very challenging in different other ways, especially when you're setting up. You have to make sure you have income stability, because lots of times when you don't have financial stability, you tend to make decisions out of fear. If you make decisions out of fear, that means that they could be decisions that you regret later. Make sure, excuse me, that you have, again, excuse me, a time frame available that you give yourself. And obviously you need to have a plan for that time frame of how you want to make it work. Obviously, there are costs involved as well, depending on what you do. So are you buying a facility to offer dog training? Do you have to buy equipment for that, like agility equipment? Or for example, with man training, you pretty much don't have to buy any equipment other than maybe some harnesses and leads and some food pots and toys. But, it's whatever it is, there are some costs involved, also setting up, and you will have to make sure you calculate them as well. So there's two things to make transitioning easier. So make sure you keep, or you don't have to obviously, but it makes it easier to keep your part-time work, even if it's just a day a week maybe, or slowly fading that out. So you have that security, so you don't feel like you have to make decisions out of fear. So you're building a business around your existing job, so you have more stability whilst building your client base. Again, it gives you more freedom, it gives you more, you're going into everything more relaxed with less pressure, which I think if it comes to making big decisions, this is a very good thing. Have a plan, like I said, start small and achievable, set your goals properly for that, and then go from there. Like I said, the sky's the limit. So with whatever you do, if you're employed or self-employed, know your self-worth. So I really highly encourage you to watch this video with me now.
You owe it to yourself to be great. You owe it to yourself. Some say they're selfish. Some might say they owe it to their family to be there for them. Let me tell you something. You owe it to your family to set an example of someone who lives the life they want to live, a strong example of a strong human being. You owe it to everyone you love to set an example of what a great life looks like, so they can follow in your footsteps. Settling for less, it stops with you. Accepting average, it stops with you. Strength, courage, determination, and a beautiful life, that starts with you. You can't help anyone until you help yourself. And when you make you strong, that strength will spill over to everyone else. They will be inspired by you. They will follow your example. Some say to focus on yourself is selfish. I say to settle for a mediocre life that you hate, that's selfish. because that will be replicated for many generations to come. Until someone says, enough is enough. I am more than this. You owe it to yourself to see how far you can go in life. You owe it to yourself to earn the kind of money you want to earn. You owe it to yourself to be the kind of person you want to be, to feel the energy you want to feel, to have the body you want to have from doing the work you know you are capable of doing. You owe it to yourself to feel the pride of knowing you made your life. You didn't get lucky. You worked for it. You sacrificed. When it was hard, you pushed harder. You owe it to yourself to feel that pride. You owe it to yourself to look back one day and say, that was the moment. That was the moment I decided no more. That was the moment I decided no excuses. That was the moment I said, never again will I settle for less. I will work, I will ask, I will learn. I will not stop at hurdles. I will not stop at setbacks. I will persist until I win. You owe it to yourself, no one else. Do it for you. You owe yourself that much. You owe it to yourself to be great. You owe it to yourself.
Your biggest strength in life will be the perception that you have over yourself. How do you feel about yourself? Your self-worth. What is that? See, confidence is the greatest asset you could ever have. And that is built based on experience, based on living, based on what you bring to the table. You see, a doctor doesn't get paid based on the amount of time that he spends with you. You see, a lot of people say, oh, you only saw me for 5 minutes. How did this cost so much money? No. You're not paying for the 5 minutes. You're paying for everything that he brings to the table within those 5 minutes. You're paying for the experience. You're paying for all the time that he spent in school to be able to quickly diagnose what's going on with you and be able to give you the proper direction of how to get better. See, that's what you're paying for. And so the doctor has an established worth of who he is. And that is based on the amount of schooling that he went through, the amount of experience that he went through, the amount of preparation and everything, and being able to see things through experience. And so he has an established worth based on his time. What is your worth on your time? Just to give you perspective, $1 million means that you are practically worth $500 an hour based on 40 hours per week. So where do you see yourself? Because you will never be a millionaire unless you really value your time that way, unless you say, my time is worth $500 an hour. And you have to understand that things that are eating up your time, hours in the day, is this activity worth $500? Is spending time with this person worth $500? See, and if you want to be a decamillionaire, you want to be you want to own hundreds of millions of dollars, billionaire, well, that goes up exponentially. So where do you see yourself? That's the greatest thing. So confidence is the greatest asset you can ever have. And I'm not just talking about a little confidence, saying, yeah, I'm confident. Okay, it's the difference between watching a movie on your smartphone, right, with awful, poor sound, or watching a movie in a movie theater with this surround sound where it's rumbling and shaking, where you jump, right? And you're basically immerse yourself in the character. And you're basically living that reality. That's what that is. And they've done test after test to show that the more confident you are, the more you believe in yourself in terms of your body language, it affects other people in terms of their perception of you, in addition to your own self-belief. So I'm not talking about little tiny detail, I'm talking a little description of being confident, like the smartphone. That's the equivalent. I'm talking about immersing yourself in the tiniest little detail. Just like a huge movie theater, to know every little quirk about yourself, to be totally confident about that. They've done study after study. There was one study where doctors in white coats perform significantly better than doctors without white coats, because it's all about the perception of yourself. And so my invitation to you is to raise your standard of who you are. Raise it. Raise the bar. Get there. And you could do this. Get yourself a nice watch. Get yourself some nice clothes. Dress sharp. You will infinitely feel a certain aura about you, and that gravitational pull from other people will feel better that way, right? They will want to do more business with you. They will want to hang out with you more. You're presenting an energy about yourself of who you are, your own self-concept. You are used to a lower standard of life, a lower quality of living. If you accept that, your subconscious knows that, okay, we can get by here. If you do not accept that, if you will not accept that life, and you say, my bar is here, I do not settle for anything under it, well, guess what? You won't. You will reach that bar. And you can only achieve these great things in the world if you truly believe you're worthy of them.
Right, with this beautiful video, I would like to say thank you for watching, and if you've got any questions, please feel free to contact us. Ciao for now and have a lovely day.